was narrowing. Arsenal's win at Southampton meant the Gunners went into the new year still unbeaten against all other Premiership sides.
And Pires has ghosted into space, and Arsenal are in front.
Liverpool overturned their opening day defeat against Chelsea by taking all 3 points at Stamford Bridge, lifting them to 5th.
A superb Liverpool goal. Giroud started it, and Giroud finished it.
Manchester United made it 3 wins out of 3 over Christmas.
And Scholes has slipped it through for Giggs, and he's gone past Yaskalainen, but Nistelrooy is waiting.
We've had to battle tonight, we've had to show qualities that are important in these tips or matches, and we'll get the bonus of others dropping points.
So United finished a perfect Christmas at the top of the tree. Charlton's great start showed no sign of slowing. The Addicts were still in 4th.
Portsmouth's blistering start to the season had well and truly burnt itself out. They now found themselves in the drop zone. Manchester City were sliding alarmingly as well.
A seemingly innocuous challenge in a match between Portsmouth and Manchester City in early January was to spell the end of a glittering career after over 1,000 appearances. At 40, David Seaman knew it was the right time to hang up the gloves. City were struggling, and Kevin Keegan signed David James as a replacement.
Injury to Dave on the Saturday, I believe, it sort of started rumours, but then obviously he announced his retirement and the opportunity was there. But I mean, from the Saturday to the Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever the first talk was, for me to sign Wednesday was very quick.
City were in free fall down the table. James made his debut at home to Blackburn, and Seaman was there to say his goodbyes. Blackburn equalised 5 minutes after conceding the opener, and the draw was City's 12th game in a row without a win. Keegan was beginning to feel the heat.
The one thing we need now is a result or two here, you know, just to get the confidence going again, because that's the thing. There's a nervousness and a lack of confidence about a few of us that is understandable when you think, you know, since the middle of October we haven't won a game here.
Manchester United old boys Paul Ince and Dennis Irwin came up against some familiar faces when the champions travelled to Molineux. It was also a swan song for Rio Ferdinand, about to begin an 8-month ban for missing his drugs test. It proved an unhappy farewell.
Possibilities here for Kenny Miller. Slipped by Brown. It's Miller! Wolverhampton Wanderers, the bottom club in the Premiership, lead Manchester United.
It was United's 4th defeat of the season. The title was slipping from their grasp, and they had to defend their crown for the rest of the campaign without Ferdinand. His forgetfulness would prove to be a costly turning point for Manchester United.
The transfer window opened in early January, and business was conducted amid some acrimony. Tottenham took Jermaine Defoe to White Hart Lane, but it was Charlton and Fulham who lost their star men. Scott Parker moving to Chelsea and Louis Saha to Old Trafford. There were murmurs of disloyalty.
I thought it was a great opportunity who was going to pass just like that, so I wasn't happy, and I make them understand that.
It is a hard situation. In life, sometimes decisions come along, and which sometimes you can't refuse, and I just felt this was an occasion which I just couldn't let slip by.
Parker was groomed by Charlton, and the manner of the transfer sat uncomfortably with his former manager.
The last 3 weeks has left a bad taste in my mouth, and you know, the way this transfer has been conducted, we're not happy with, but that's life.
Saha made his debut against Southampton on the last day of January, and Sir Alex Ferguson's £12 million outlay was to reap immediate dividends. Saha's opener helped United to a 3-2 victory.
Arsenal were also spending big. Jose Antonio Reyes became their record signing when he arrived from Seville for an initial payment of £10.5 million.
Saturday the 7th of February, and Newcastle's Gary Speed makes history as the first player to 400 Premiership games.
A 2-1 victory in the Carling Cup final against Bolton in February earned Middlesbrough their first trophy in 128 years.
One thing I found before the final, from the fans and speaking to everybody in the club, everybody was so convinced that this was the year, this was the season that they were going to do it. And they had a great belief.
Having finished 7th last campaign, life was proving slightly trickier for David Moyes and the blue half of Merseyside this season.
I think that sometimes people say the second year is always harder than the first year. I felt that we had started to put a good foundations down. You know, we worked very hard last year, very committed, and I expected nothing less than that this year.
Victory against Aston Villa in February gave the Toffees their first win of 2004. Expectations were raised, but this was to be a season of acute disappointment at Goodison.
On Saturday the 21st of February 2004, Arsenal travelled to Chelsea while Manchester United hosted Leeds. Both games kicked off at 12:30 and it was a significant day.
Smith, it's an equaliser. Alan Smith gets his first ever goal against Manchester United.
Arsenal were still unbeaten in the league and were now 9 points clear of United and Chelsea.
There are 10, 11 matches, but I think 9 points are very, very long.
On the last day of February, Arsenal had won their previous 7 Barclaycard English Premier League matches and had opened a comprehensive gap. Aston Villa were up to 7th.
Leicester, Leeds and Wolves had only 2 wins between them from their previous 12 games and were all in the drop zone as a result. Manchester City were now only 3 points from safety.
After a turbulent season, Leeds celebrated some good news in March as a consortium saved the club from liquidation. A fire sale of players was still a possibility, but Leeds were once again united.
This club was totally insolvent. This club was facing extinction. It would have gone into administration, and the administrator would have had a duty to get the best price possible for the ground. What I'm telling you is that on Friday it moved from insolvency to solvency.
The takeover brought a new wave of optimism to Elland Road, and the team rode that wave against Manchester City in the first game under the new owners. The 2-1 win lifted Leeds off the bottom of the table, and Manchester City were now only 5 points above their conquerors.
With 9 games to go, Arsenal were still unbeaten in the league. If they could win or draw against Manchester United at Highbury, they would set a new record for consecutive league games without defeat from the start of a season.
Solskjaer, good-looking ball in Van Nistelrooy, and Zaha has put Manchester United level. History for Arsenal, 30 games unbeaten from the start of the season.
remarkable achievement for 30 games. The fact that we keep Man United at 12 points with 8 games to go.
I think that they'll go on and win the league now, I'm sure of that. They're playing with great determination, a very strong team, so they should win the league really.
The battle for the 4th and final Champions League place looked like being a straight race between Liverpool and Newcastle.
The last 9, 8 or 7 games turned to become a sprint. Maybe a sprint for the teams, the 3 teams at the top, and also a sprint for the 4th place.
Andy O'Brien's own goal cost Newcastle at Spurs and opened the door for Liverpool.
I see it as being very close, nip and tuck. It's extremely competitive. As you're talking to me now, we're waiting for Liverpool result against Southampton.
But neither side were in the kind of form to make that place their own.
Oh, he's been denied again! This is an absolute nightmare for Michael Owen.
Liverpool then travelled to Highbury on Good Friday to face Arsenal. The Gunners had been knocked out of Europe and the FA Cup in a matter of days.
Great ball. Owen! Terrific goal for Liverpool!
A test of character in North London as Arsenal looked to regroup.
Lovely bouncing ball for Perez! 2-2! Sidestepping 1, sidestepping 2! That is brilliant! That is simply stunning! Genius at work! His name is Thierry Henry!
Leeds travelled to Ewood Park knowing a win would take them to 31 points, level with host Blackburn.
It's Short who's trying to make up the distance. Cut back by Pennant, a backheel surely but will cut!
Only goal difference now kept Blackburn the right side of the drop zone. In another relegation 6-pointer, Wolves travelled to Manchester City in search of their first away win of the whole season. Henri Camara's goal with 10 minutes to go made it 3-2 to the visitors, but Dave Jones was right not to get carried away. Sean Wright-Phillips popped up in stoppage time to earn a share of the spoils. Claudio Ranieri needed 3 points at Villa Park to keep Chelsea in title contention.
Marcel.